Hello, I'm Jonathan, and this is a brief overview of the Warrior cases that we've been working through for the past several months. And all the reviews I've gotten back have called everybody I know of that's involved and have confirmed that crashing is vastly reduced. In fact, most users say it's not even a part of their daily concern at this point. So I wanted to overview everything that we found and go through the solutions. And it's just so that if we ever need to come back and look at the history on it, we have what was known as the issue, and then of course the solution that we provided. So area one, that crashing versus forced closure. So let's look. So areas identified. We've got crashing versus a forced close. And you can see all the reasons here. What we'll do as our overviews go through each of these reasons in detail. So we've got large files, read-only documents that cannot have references updated, files that update but they're not to the current version, so that causes a hang-up. Hidden files that users couldn't see, those were vault settings. And then, of course, legacy files, files that hadn't been updated in the conversion, and why. So next, we'd see many of the documents they're large. You have large files and many references. And so in some cases, we'd see like a 20-minute load time and a 20-minute rebuild time and a 20-minute save. Well, an hour to make a simple change it's not realistic. And so we can understand why there's so much concern there. What we found is that the files couldn't actually update references and save them. And that would mean that multiple users would have to repeat the same process over and over. And so you can imagine the multiple delays with many users. So the solution for that is that we'd need to update these references, and allowing a user to either have permissions or to contact someone who has those permissions, make the save, and update the files. We saw load times change from 20 minutes down to like 3. And in 3 minutes, to open and make a change is pretty reasonable amount of time given the file size we have. Then we came across these read-only documents, so what Warrior refers to as standards documents. And it's a great idea. The issue that comes up is that sometimes those standards need to be updated. And in the case where a drawing has reference assemblies or a reference part, and not everything gets updated. So this duplicates the process every time. If the reference isn't changed, then when the user opens up the file, it has to be repeated by every user. And so updating the standards eliminates that problem. So as long as users with permissions have updated the drawing of the assembly files or the part files, the overall load time is going to decrease, and that's consistent all the way across the board. Another area, we found a couple settings. So this is, again, with the help of SOLIDWORKS and their feedback. And then, of course, to relay those settings to everybody, because it needed to be company-wide. Every SOLIDWORKS user needed to make an update in their workflow. And so to do that, we sent an image over of where the setting was located. And then to even step that up a second level, just to be sure that when there wasn't any confusion, I created videos, so a YouTube video that could actually be shared, and that could be looped over and over. So you can see how powerful a few of those review tools can be. So then secondly, we had a second setting, this auto start projected view. Now there's a different feeling on this. Some users like the setting, some users don't like the setting. It's okay to have that preference, but if you choose to not use this, to not enable it, it results in known crashes. And because SOLIDWORKS provided us that feedback, it's an issue that they're working on in the next service pack. It will most likely be resolved. But until then, this setting needed to be changed. And so again, just to relay the message, we came through and updated everyone with an email with a video announcement so that you could repeat the process and see how the settings would come through. So we update those settings, And once everything was updated, there were no known reports to SolidWorks for crashing related issues, not one. So in the process, our users, they learned about the settings and then, of course, times that would improve the workflow. And sometimes it's just a school of hard knocks, right? We open up our file sets, we go through the review, we find a couple of things that are known concerns, and once we've kind of gone through the battle, we can make that change permanently, and we don't have to go through it every time. And that was a common update. So applying those settings across made a major improvement, and the users reported back to us, and the experience is much improved. So that's great. The last idea is just some training, just basic file management, not because there's anything massively wrong with what's being done today, just little things that come up in the dialogue of our training classes that could really key in new users into what would be the most effective way to use EPDM in SolidWorks. These aren't new issues. They're kind of users across the board see problems like this, but at times we'd see existing users, they get keyed into this workflow process, and then the new user, they'll need to update that same process to minimize new issues through training. So we want to help, and typically phone training is like the worst possible method of training, because visualization of the issues, of the concerns, and then actually doing the work yourself makes it stick, makes a good user a great user. So we've talked about some of the solutions we've provided for support. Many of those issues we've kind of gone above and beyond what we would normally provide in a support situation. And we want you guys to be successful. It's your success that keeps us in business. And so we want to be there to support you. It's been a kind of a long road, but we're really excited that we've had some success. People aren't frustrated anymore. In fact, you're using the tool to get things done. And so we just want the opportunity to train your new users on best practices as well. We thank you for your time. If you have any questions at all, please contact us. Get in touch with me. You can send an email to support. We certainly, the major concern, I think, is completely dealt with. And, little issues are going to come up, and we want to address those right away. I hope you've been pleased with us, and we certainly want feedback from you. Thanks so much.